In the world of the future, a utopian society that has reached a high level of technology and development, climate change of unprecedented proportions suddenly began. From tornadoes and thunderstorms to droughts and floods, global warming has hit the planet and covered the Earth with a terrible veil of danger. The polar ice caps were on the verge of melting, and the level of the world's oceans was rising at an amazing rate, threatening to flood many large cities. Catastrophic fires dominated the deserts, and agriculture suffered from lack of water and extreme heat. But in the face of the coming catastrophe, humanity has not given up. Scientists, engineers, and researchers from all over the world have joined forces to find a way to save the planet. It was in this difficult situation that humanitarian and scientific values came first, uniting people of all countries in the struggle for survival. One of the best minds of the generation, Dr. Amelia Wright, worked in the laboratory of the latest environmental technologies and conducted research to find ways to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. Her team has developed a unique project to cool the atmosphere using innovative technology of mirror satellites reflecting solar radiation into space. The satellites were launched into orbit in record time, thanks to the close cooperation between the states. The effect turned out to be enormous. The temperature of the planet began to gradually decrease, the polar ice was restored, and the oceans calmed down. But the downside of this success was the emergence of a global imbalance in the ecosystem. Satellites, although they fulfilled their function and saved the planet from disaster, had an unpredictable effect on the climate and the biosphere. Life on Earth began to change under the influence of new conditions, and this endangered many species of living organisms, including humanity. Dr. Wright and her colleagues had to take the rope into their own hands and look for new ways to adapt to a changing world. They began active research on the creation of new technologies capable of ensuring the survival of mankind in new conditions. These were gene modifications to adapt to harsh climatic conditions, technologies for involving the internal resources of the body to survive without external food sources, the creation of a biological phytoplankton for water purification, and many other innovative approaches. As the new world continued to change and evolve, Dr. Wright and her team worked on the edge of opportunity and opened up new horizons of survival and prosperity for humanity. And although they faced difficulties and unknowns, they knew that their labors were not in vain and the future of the planet was in their hands. Dr. Wright and her colleagues conducted large-scale experiments to create artificial bioecosystems capable of adapting to the new conditions of the planet. They studied the impact of climate change on flora and fauna, developing methods for preserving biodiversity and maintaining environmental sustainability. One of the most significant research results was the creation of biotechnological systems capable of effectively purifying air and water from pollution, which has become a necessity in the face of dramatic climate change. These innovative technologies have become widely used not only on Earth, but also in space colonies, where humanitarian principles and environmental standards have become key to the survival of mankind. However, in addition to scientific discoveries, new ethical dilemmas have emerged. For example, the question of how far one can go in changing nature in order to save humanity. Dr. Wright and her colleagues often faced criticism and outrage from those who feared that technology would begin to control people and not the other way around. Nevertheless, thanks to the courage and determination of scientists to continue to look for solutions, the world has moved away from the brink of destruction and has once again begun to move towards sustainability and well-being. New generations of researchers and engineers were inspired by the example of their predecessors and sought to preserve the planet for future generations. For Dr. Wright and her team, each new day became a challenge and an opportunity to overcome their own limits in the search for a sustainable future for all living beings on Earth. Despite all the difficulties, Dr. Wright and her team worked tirelessly and continued to move forward, hoping that their efforts would bear fruit and help save our planet from the threat of climate change.